call Wichita State for you, but those of you ticketed for Jacksonville action, time to send you to Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville. Wisconsin, Milwaukee versus Oklahoma. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, and Stephen Bardo.
All right, Greg, CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA basketball tournament does bring you to Jacksonville. We're in the Minneapolis bracket. Wisconsin, Milwaukee, the 11th seed out of the Horizon League, taking on the Sooners from the Big 12. There you see the bracket. The winner of this game will advance to take on the winner of the Florida-South Alabama game, which is game 2 of our afternoon session here in Jacksonville, Florida. Rob Jeter, 37 years young and 91, was a part of a Division III national championship playing for Wisconsin-Platteville. Bo Ryan was the coach at that time. He takes over for Bruce Pearl. His club made it to the Sweet 16 a year ago. Tigert, McCoy, Tucker, and Davis, along with Hill. Bookout, Taj Gray, David Godbold, along with Terrell Everett, who's a real key today, and Michael Neal for Oklahoma. And there's Kelvin Sampson. In 2002, guided his team into the Final Four in Atlanta. This is his 12th NCAA tournament. He has done a marvelous job since coming to Norman. Our officials for today's game, J.D. Collins, Joe DeMeo, and Jerry Meter, alongside Mike Jaminski and our newest partner and family member here on CBS Sports, Stephen Bardo. It's great to have you with us. Wisconsin-Milwaukee wins the tap, and Tigert looks outside.
Look for UW-Milwaukee running the flex offense.
Boo Davis, young man from Chicago, transferred from Olney Junior College. A number of players from that school participating for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and there's the pressure leading to a turnover. Davis again.
And Stephen, if UW-Milwaukee is more successful scoring the basketball, they're going to be able to get into that pressure, which they want to do against Oklahoma.
Everett comes back with the answer. Oklahoma, an at-large team out of the Big 12. 25 consecutive postseason appearances. That does not just mean the NCAA tournament. There have been a few NITs sprinkled in, going all the way back to the Billy Tubbs era back in the 80s. There's an offensive foul. It'll go the other way to Oklahoma.
You see right now the frenetic pace of the game is to the liking of Milwaukee. Everett was able to get the jumper down on the offensive end, but Oklahoma has been sped up here at the very beginning of the ball game. That plays in the hands of the Panthers.
Yeah, they want to make it a possessions game, don't they? I mean, they want more possessions in this game.
Well, I like the idea too, Tim, that getting out and pressing, it's an early game. It gets you into the game quicker. You know, you can expend some energy and get loose a little faster.
There's the lob into Taj Gray. He's immediately doubled, and the Horizon League champions a year ago beat Alabama and BC to reach the Sweet 16. And in fact, Tucker had 32 in a losing effort against your Illinois team, Bardo. He was tough.
Quite an accomplished player and does it always.
Tigert, senior from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, uses the glass, and it's 5-2.
Well, and right now, Oklahoma early on, you'd think they'd own the paint with the big guys up front, but Milwaukee very aggressive in attacking the rim.
Now, a lot of times, Mike, when you're playing against a team that likes to press like Milwaukee, you want to make them pay with layups. But Oklahoma doesn't handle the ball well enough, besides Everett, to really make that happen.
And you see the turnover story. 3 possessions and 2 turnovers for Oklahoma. Gray trying to keep it alive. Quick outlet by Hill. He gets it into Tucker's hands. Bookout grabs the rebound for Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's interesting in many ways. Bruce Pearl has 2 teams in the tournament this year. These guys last year and Tennessee this year.
What a rejection. Jason McCoy swatting it away, and Tucker on the other end, count it, and a foul.
And you notice what's going to happen as we watch the play from McCoy, who starts the fast break. Loves to come from the weak side. But the partisan crowd will start to favor Milwaukee because they play a fan-friendly style of play. You notice the Florida Gator fans kind of liking this up-tempo.
Yeah, I think they may be thinking matchups. What do you think?
Well, you know, I think the key, too, there defensively, if Tiger can just lay on guys inside and not let them elevate, it allows McCoy to come from the weak side and get blocks.
Tucker completes the old-fashioned three-point play, and Wisconsin-Milwaukee's press has been very effective early on. Neal on the other end. They finally break, and there's Bookout, the birthday boy. Devin Bookout turns 23 today, and it's 8-4 Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
You've got to attack the press to score, not be complacent with just getting the ball over half court, and I thought Oklahoma did a better job that possession.
Tigers. Taj Gray rips it down for Oklahoma, gets it into Terrell Everett's hands. Everett, nice move off the bounce, but can't complete it. And the rebound taken down by Boo Davis. Boy, Hill really gets it out fast to Tiger. Back to Hill. Oh, that's beautiful.
And you see what the problem is. Kelvin Sampson calling timeout. They're not getting back on defense. They're trying to attack quickly on the offensive end, and Milwaukee's making them pay.
Yes.
10-4. The Panthers have the lead. We'll be right back.
Hey, make way for CJ. What's this?
It's a kung pao sauce for my shrimp.
Woo! Spicy.
Dip into flavor in a whole new way with Friday's new Flavor Shots Grill. Everyone could use more Fridays.
Class of '94, here I come.
When you want to make a good impression, Enterprise Rent-A-Car will pick you up free and get you going in style.
Looking good, Moose.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
On a good day, I would barely make a splash. Now, I hope for as much impact as possible.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Check it out. I got the NCAA March Madness, baby.
You don't have March Madness.
What? Look at me.
Can you follow your favorite teams with just 2 clicks of a button?
No.
Is your bracket with you at all times and constantly updated?
Oh.
Then you don't have March Madness. You have March Sadness.
Well, check this out. Singular MediaNet. Latest scores, breaking news, bracket challenge. If you've got Singular, you can personalize your phone for college hoops.
You want to see what else I painted?
No.
Singular, raising the bar.
The Lexus RX has already earned the admiration of the world. But now that the new RX 350 is even more powerful, it's no wonder that for some, envy has turned into obsession. Introducing the new 270 horsepower RX 350 from Lexus.
Hello.
Putting the world on notice yet again.
26 years ago, he buried his victim alive. Now he's back to do it again.
Steve lasted 6 hours in the ground. Maybe he will too.
Cold Case, CBS Sunday.
March Madness on demand is free. Get the first 3 rounds live on your computer. Sign up early at ncaasports.com/MMOD.
Milwaukee leads by 6 Tuesday on CBS. See why the unit has become TV's #1 news show. Don't miss a new episode Tuesday after NCIS on CBS, America's #1 network. Fellas, what we've seen already is Rob Jeter really utilize his press to get tempo control.
Yeah, they know that Oklahoma doesn't play anyone in the Big 12 that plays this style, and so they want to speed them up, try to get the ball out of the hands of Terrell Everett and make someone else beat them.
And Stephen, also, I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to take somebody off the offensive glass. I mean, Oklahoma, they're a very good offensive rebounding team, but in order to get defensive transition, they're going to have to send people back, and it's going to hurt them along the front line.
Godbolt with the dump down to Bookout. Yes, and a foul. Strong move by Bookout, who has really been a warrior for Oklahoma since coming to Norman.
Well, he's playing with a broken navicular bone in his left hand, but he's a guy that they have a tough time matching up with Milwaukee inside. And if Oklahoma can somehow make this a half-court game and establish him, it's going to be to their liking.
You know, you mentioned something, Stephen, a moment ago about no one in the Big 12 playing a style like this. As Tigert loses it out of bounds, Oklahoma gets the ball back. Seth Davis mentioned that in our studios back in New York before we got started here. And that's really what the NCAA tournament first round is all about.
Just like you're saying, matchups, Tim. And, you know, also Milwaukee loves to take the fact that they're the lower seed as momentum and motivation to get past the Sooners.
And then the more efficient, Tim, that Oklahoma is, it's going to be tougher for Milwaukee to run it, taking the ball out of the basket. Much easier to establish that tempo on misses.
Well, that was a 4-point trip for Bookout and the Sooners, even with the missed free throw. McCoy, very long and lean, takes it into the paint. Bookout retrieves it for Oklahoma. Sooners turned it over a couple of times in their first 3 possessions, but since then have settled down just a bit.
As Mike mentioned earlier, they got to the half-court set and want to grind Milwaukee out.
Neal getting it inside. Nice move. Taj Gray is an incredibly gifted low-post player.
You can't give him the lane to the basket. Tiger got caught on the high side that time, went for the steal, and really was naked defensively.
And Mike, Milwaukee looks a little confused on their post defense because at times they're trying to total front, that time trying to 50% front.
4 rebounds for Bookout already, and 6 unanswered for the Sooners to climb back to a tie after being blitzed by the early press. The real deal Neal leaves it on the iron, and Bookout takes care of it.
Hey, the guys are coming over to watch the game. Aren't you worried about them drinking all the Bud Light?
Not to worry. Look what I had installed.
A secret revolving wall. Dude, you're a genius.
Guys, hurry up! The Magic Fridge is back!
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Magic Fridge. Magic Fridge.
A simple brushstroke unites performance and design. With the engine placed near the center of gravity and the wheels pushed to the far corners, a simple brushstroke becomes the more agile, more balanced G35. Infiniti. Now lease the Infiniti G35 sedan for $359 per month.
Your goals. You have the power, so take control. You have the power. MPS. Know the power of your neighborhood schools. You have the power to reach the top. The power of learning never stops. You have the power. MPS. Know the power of your neighborhood schools. You have the power. MPS. Know the power of your neighborhood schools.
We did it for the clutch players. New beds, new lobbies. Courtyards changed it all for the go-to guys. Deeper mattresses, crisper sheets, wider open spaces with Wi-Fi, easy chairs, and freshly stocked 24-hour markets. All new, all for the players who suit up and take the field.
Courtyard, redesigned by business travelers for business travelers.
Go team.
The 2006 Motor Trend Sport Utility of the Year. The new Nissan Xterra. Show us your X.
Just over 4.5 minutes gone, and it's a 10-10 tie. Tonight on The Late Show, Dave's got Sir Charles Barkley, plus a special top 10 with speed skating gold medalist Chad Everett. That's all tonight on Dave. By the way, we're working with Mike Jaminski, who Charles Barkley said was his favorite teammate.
I hope that Dave got his A game tonight when Charlie shows up. And I hope they also have a chair big enough for him to sit in.
How did you become his favorite teammate?
I'd send him a check every year to say that.
Stephen, who was your favorite teammate?
It wasn't Charles Barkley.
I thought you might say Jaminski today.
Oh, that's a known fact. I'll have to say that.
Terrell Everett operating at the point, working in against Hill, using his size, and a steal. Hill got a hand on it, book out. The human floor burn saves it to Taj Gray. Everett in traffic. Look at Tucker Sky for the rebound. He's averaging over 6 a game at 6'5", a real jumping jack out of Glendale Nicollet High School.
Chris Hill, good job defensively as the shot clock was winding down on the much taller Everett. Use his body to bump him as on the release.
Tucker feeds McCoy, slapped away by Everett.
You got that all Chicago backcourt, so some toughness there for Milwaukee.
Godbold for 3. On the offensive glass, Neal unable to finish. Boo Davis is bumped by Godbold.
There have been many times in talking to the Milwaukee assistant coaches, Oklahoma's best pass is a shot to the rim and a miss where they can climb on the offensive glass. That's how they've kind of kept themselves in this game.
And they have, Stephen, at times really had difficulty, Oklahoma, manufacturing offense.
Yeah, they really do, and they don't have the creators off the bounce that they're used to having.
Alley-oop to Tucker. Boo drops the dime to Tucker.
And he is a nightmare matchup for most teams. He can take bigs outside and outquick them. If you put a smaller player on him, he can go to the rack.
Gray with numbers as they go over the top of the press. And on the lob, it hits the iron. Unfortunate break for Oklahoma. They had a perfect 2-on-1. And the lob hit the rim. Boo Davis. He drops in a tray, the senior from Chicago.
Now you notice the pace starting to quicken once again. The Sooners were able to slow it down, get it in the half court, but as long as Milwaukee can make this a full court game, it's definitely to their advantage.
And this year with Ed McCants gone, I think Boo Davis has been a lot more aggressive in their offense looking for a shot.
And like we saw this team a couple of years ago, they were younger, but they also had McCants. And you were talking about a team that had 5 guys that could beat you off the dribble at any time when Bruce Pearl was coaching this club. There's Gray. Point-blank range, unable to connect. He walked. On the putback, he had happy feet. It'll go the other way.
Take a look at Milwaukee last time down. Nice back screen by Tiger. No communication. And Tucker doesn't chin up on the rim.
Also on the lob, there was no ball pressure, and he had a good sideline. Everett's got to get his hands up that time and make that pass a tougher look.
Sooners have had 4 empty possessions now. And the lead extended to 5. It's been a game of runs so far for both clubs.
You see Tucker being very patient. Used to press himself a little bit at the beginning of the season, but has learned to trust his teammates.
Nice work by Bookout. All leather. He gets the tie ball with the arrow to Oklahoma. Now Mark Pancratz has come into the game along with Derek Ford, number 4, number 50 in black, and Godbold leaves the game for Oklahoma. Nate Carter, number 24, checking in for him. Carter, junior from San Diego, California, transferred from UC Riverside. There, that pressure forces a timeout. It has been bothersome for the Sooners early on. 7 minutes gone. Sooners trail UW Milwaukee by 5.
Wow, that guy that took the elbow says he's in bad shape.
He's better now.
A kid from state may go pro.
He decided not to.
So Tech is favored to win.
They didn't.
How do you know? This is today's news.
No, this is...
Fine. Phone boy.
Singular MediaNet. Latest scores, breaking news, bracket challenge. If you've got Singular, you can personalize your phone for NCAA March Madness.
They got a 2-for-1 deal on radial tires in here.
Singular, raising the bar.
Wisconsin, Milwaukee by 5. Mike, let's take a look at the pressure that forced that timeout.
Well, I think the problem, you've only got 2 outlets right here. They've got to get more people into the front court. Tried a little screen roll, and Milwaukee doing a nice switch there, and Neal had no outlets that time. You got to have more people coming in to help the inbounder.
You know, Rob Jeter made an interesting point. He adapted to what this team that's been to the Sweet 16 before was all about, but he doesn't like giving up as many layups, and there's a foul on the inbounds. It'll go against Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and it's Avery Smith that's tagged, his first. But what Rob Jeter did, though, I think was tremendous in that he adopted to one style and yet implemented another in the same year with a veteran team.
And you said veteran team, and that's the key. If he had a younger group, he'd be able to just trash the old system and bring up everything that he wanted to bring into the mix. But these guys have been successful under Pearl's system. Good job of blending the two systems.
And it's a veteran team that's had success. You know, if they had gone nowhere, that's a different deal. But, you know, as a coach, you really have to walk that fine line.
Taj Gray off the back iron. Tucker rips it down. You saw that graphic offensively. It's been all book out and little else for Oklahoma. 2 for 14 now as a team. Oklahoma, and Bookout has been outstanding. Hasn't missed.
Look for Milwaukee to go to Jordan. Tucker, right now, really the only one on the floor with the ability to score.
Tucker, little step back move off the front iron. Taken out of there by Everett. Nice, strong move by Terrell Everett.
Kelvin Sampson said that he is at his best in a helter-skelter game, getting it up and down the floor, especially in the break situation.
Avery Smith, the floater.
Oh, that was pretty right there.
Yeah.
Telling the big fella you got to jump a little bit higher on that one.
Sophomore from Milwaukee, Avery Smith logging a lot of playing time with this veteran bunch.
Well, you know, Bookout is not a shot blocker. You know, I think you can attack him inside. Gray, maybe you have to be wary of.
And an illegal pick set by Taj Gray. Terrell Everett has been called the key to Kelvin Sampson's team. The young man from Charleston, South Carolina, shows you a little crossover there.
Great, another Mazda sales event.
With a killer lease on Mazda 3. That thing stomped my Civic.
And it's got more power and room than Civic, Sentra, and Corolla.
Are we the only ones worried about all this?
Apparently not.
Ach du Liebe. What did he say?
It's the biggest Mazda's on the Move sales event yet. Lease a 2006 Mazda 3i for $189 a month for 39 months with $23.89 to at least signing. Just $189 a month. Hurry to your Mazda dealer for a test drive now.
The Braves signed me when I was 16 years old on account I had a Major League cannon.
Yeah, I remember J.T. Smith. That's the guy that he threw the ball so hard, but he couldn't hit the side of a red barn.
But when I gave up pitching, I just started bowling, and the similarities were pretty apparent from the get-go. My job as a pitcher was always to intimidate. Now I intimidate the pins.
Nice. Are you ready for the show? MLB 06, the show. Rated E for everyone.
That counts, right?
This is Gary Poole, a genial guy from Trenton, New Jersey. Gary's been married for almost 10 years, but until a recent trip to McDonald's, didn't know it. Gary had fresh brewed premium roast coffee with his McGriddles, and it was like he was seeing her for the very first time.
He had no idea we were married.
Gary thought she was cute, so it was okay.
It's like we're newlyweds all over again.
Start your morning with richer, bolder premium roast coffee and add a warm, tasty McGriddles. Wake up and smell your life.
I hope there aren't any other wives.
The thrill of white-knuckle driving obviously came from someone with white knuckles.
Great day, let's bring her in.
Formula One-inspired Michelin Pilot Series high-performance tires.
Or not.
Turn your performance car into a 12-month machine. Michelin Pilot Exalto all-season tires. Michelin, a better way forward.
For some, recovery is a long road. For men, they reach for revitalizing lotion Q10. Because Q10 replenishes skin to feel healthy, firm, and fit. Especially when you don't. Nivea for men, more evolved skincare.
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, fly to 61 destinations for just $49 to $159.
Greg Gumbel, Clark Kellogg, Seth Davis in New York. We'll get you back to this game after we check out what's happening first in Greensboro, North Carolina. All right, meanwhile, in Salt Lake City, they're in a timeout where Boston College has jumped off to the quick lead over Pacific, and that's not good news for the Tigers.
Well, you know, the big question about BC having to play that tough ACC tournament, and then they play that final game on Sunday, and then having to fly across the country, play the early game on Thursday. Would they have jet lag? But it certainly doesn't look like it at the start, and they are much, much stronger than Pacific.
Jared Dudley and Craig Smith have all 8 points for BC. Both have 4.
All right, guys, we'll keep you updated on that one. Meanwhile, let's get you back to Wisconsin, Milwaukee against Oklahoma in Jacksonville. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, Stephen Bardo.
In a game that has featured two major runs by both clubs, Wisconsin, Milwaukee leading by 3. There's the dump down to Tiger. Book out, yet another rebound. He has been all over the glass. 5 boards in the first 9.5 minutes. Everett. Ball tapped out, but into the hands of Avery Smith. On his own, a solo rejected by Taj Gray. Well, you love him, Mike. You love his athletic ability and the big fellow running the floor here to get the swat away.
All Big 12 defensive team. This is why I talked about defensive transition early. Wasn't there for Oklahoma. Better job. And it really felt like Avery Smith should have pulled the ball back and waited for some help. That was a 1-on-3 break.
Very fortunate that he got the ball back, Mike. And you see Gray go to the bench, but he's done a fantastic job of being a defensive presence inside, really bothering tight.
Smith, that's the second time he's had the floater. This time he kisses it off the glass. 19-14.
Stephen, that was the thing that Kelvin Sampson worried about, getting beaten off the dribble by Milwaukee.
You see Avery Smith has a shot that every young guard needs. Is a floater in the lane when you're challenging big men.
Terrell Everett called for the Palm point of emphasis this year in college basketball. Well, CBS Sportsline keeps you close to the actual live scoring and video highlights. Get up to the minute scores and on-demand highlights for each first-round game at CBSSportsline.com. Davis. Lou Davis, very quick with the launch. Has already hit a couple of threes. Out of bounds to Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Stephen, Oklahoma going a little zone right here, and I thought that was a quick jump shot by Davis, one that you could probably get at any time during the shot clock.
I like the fact that Oklahoma is going zone to give Milwaukee a little bit different look, try to get them off the rhythm somewhat.
David Godbold has come back into the game, along with Mike Kaminsky and Stephen Bardo. Tim Brando, happy to have you with us. First round action in the Minneapolis bracket. And Wisconsin, Milwaukee with a 5-point lead. Godbold comes away with a rebound as Davis took it in strong. There's Bookout. That's a walk. Took the extra step in anticipation of receiving the ball. And there are going to be a lot of those today coming over the top of this pressure.
And you notice that teams that like to press don't necessarily get back on defense very well. Bookout taking advantage, just got called for the steps.
And Stephen, I think if you're Rob Jeter, you're concerned that Bookout beats your entire team up the floor. That's not a good sign in transition. No disrespect to Kevin, but I wouldn't characterize him as a burner.
That's right.
Tucker, a fall away. Joa Tucker. This is one of those young men that could play just about anywhere in any league.
Think Bradley still wishes they had him?
Absolutely. He averaged 25. He averaged 25 points in the 3 games in the NCAAs last year. Sooners hitting that offensive wall at times in the last 4 possessions, 3 turnovers.
Taylor Griffin, the freshman that's in right now to 4 position. Very talented and skilled, has the ability to change the game.
Davis with the rebound with the outlet to Tucker. Tucker gets it back. Oh, a rainbow from up high. Timeout, Sooners. And Wisconsin, Milwaukee has its largest lead of the day. A 7-0 run.
Here's the look up ahead, and Bookout getting out in transition.
They need more of that to get back in this one. And Wisconsin, Milwaukee leads by double digits.
5, 4, and the crowd goes wild.
Let's put your kids' dreams within reach. Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Shop today and you could instantly win a VIP trip to the 2007 NCAA Men's Final Four or one of millions of Lowe's prize cards.
The 11th seed Wisconsin, Milwaukee leading Oklahoma by 10, 24-14. This is an illustration, really, fellas, of where college basketball has gone. You just cannot attach stereotypes to the seed number with these teams any longer in this tournament.
No, Tim, and we talked about it yesterday while we were here at practice. It's all about the matchups, not necessarily the seed. And Milwaukee, the lower seed, but many people around the country believe they have a great chance at pulling off the upset.
Right now, this does not look like a good matchup for Oklahoma early on. The Panthers have really dictated the style in the first 12 minutes.
Neal off the pick from Bookout. Bookout took one in the chops right there. I called him a human floor burn a moment ago. He has had a few bumps and bruises throughout his career.
Well, Michael Neal is the one for the Sooners that has to come alive from the three-point line. He is their one true viable threat from downtown. He has been quiet in this game.
Interesting matchup here with Taj Gray guarding Tucker.
Avery Smith. Godbold clears it for Oklahoma. Terrell Everett, converted two-guard, who has really meshed well with this Oklahoma offense at the point.
And then on the other end, Tucker on Bookout. So kind of switching assignments, which is not easy to do in transition.
There's Bookout. He's been perfect. Nice little sky hook. He's 4 for 4 from the floor.
Great job, Oklahoma, seeking out that mismatch and getting the ball in his hands.
And also with Bookout keeping the ball high. A lot of times you see the big man bring it down, keeps it high with his height advantage.
How about Tigert with the answer? He caught some rim as well as window, dropping it through. 26-19.
Adrian Tigert is struggling with the adjustment of the size and athleticism of Bookout and Gray. Don't see those two in the league.
Neal leaves that for a long rebound for a Wisconsin-Milwaukee guard. Hill to Davis. That's going to be an offensive foul. Player control against Chris Hill. So Wisconsin-Milwaukee, a team that's deep in talent that knows what it's like to get to the second weekend. Up on the Sooners. Horizon over Big 12 for the moment.
This may be the most important moment of your life. Commit to it.
Rolling Stone magazine says V for Vendetta is explosive.
Violence can be used for good.
What are you talking about?
Justice.
Natalie Portman is dynamite in the movie that will pin you to your seat.
The only verdict is vengeance.
V for Vendetta.
Kill him. Not tonight.
Rated R. In theaters and IMAX March 17th.
What you got there?
Buck of noodles, 99 cents.
Man, you're smart.
We wasted our 99 cents on these new buffalo snackers from KFC.
100% chicken breast, buffalo sauce, sesame seed bun.
And to think, we could have had noodles.
That's a good one.
The new 99-cent buffalo snackers from KFC. 100% chicken breast, authentic buffalo sauce, and crispy lettuce on a sesame seed bun. And like the original KFC snacker, it's only 99 cents. Heat things up for under $1 at KFC.
There comes a time when you're ready to move on to something better. Like the golden, rich flavor of Miller Genuine Draft. It's beer grown up.
If technology exists that can make our SUVs nearly effortless to use, a GMC engineer will find it and apply it. Introducing the all-new 2007 GMC Yukon with available power liftgate and one-touch third-row access. Looking beyond the drawing board is just one more way we engineer to the highest standard, professional grade.
Tuesday, they fight for freedom in secret.
Going to Indonesia.
They have the kids stashed away.
But their families pay the price.
You got shot for nothing.
Did Max put a hand on her?
TV's #1 new drama. The Unit, CBS Tuesday after NCIS.
As you look at our game summary, fellas, this battle for tempo really is illustrated by our leading scorers. Tucker in a free-flowing game leading the way, and then when it settles into half court, it's all about Bookout, G-Man.
You look at it, and Bookout has been terrific inside, 4-4. The rest of the team, 5 of 18. So, Stephen, they've got to find some other scorers, but the Panthers have been terrific early on.
Panthers have forced 6 turnovers, and they really established the pace of the game that they want. And as long as they can continue this, Oklahoma's going to be in trouble.
Rob Jeter, son of Bob Jeter, if that name sounds familiar to football fans, he was a part of the dynasty in the Vince Lombardi era as a defensive back for the Green Bay Packers. Talk about some discipline and competition while growing up. And he still talks to him daily about the game, and he comes to the games and tells Rob very quickly what he needs to see more of the next game out.
Well, if your father's an ex-NFL football player, it's not going to be much else you can do but listen.
Hook out, nice reversal.
And Tim, I am all for feeding the hot hand, and right now Kevin Bookout is it for Oklahoma, and you've got to keep going to him until the Panthers figure out a way to stop him inside.
Tucker. Not this time, Taj Gray. Boy, the block out and the vertical leap all there with him. Everett, little stop and go past McCoy, finger roll that won't go. And McCoy clears it for Milwaukee.
That's a good job of Neal that time, coming back and jamming the outlet pass of Hill. The outlet pass is what makes this Milwaukee fast break go. Good job by Neal.
Tigert, who had been injured, makes a real difference when he's on the floor for the Panthers. There's Tucker on the offensive boards, unable to convert. And a little Marcus Haynes act by Godbold to make sure he retained possession.
And it's not so much Tigert scoring, Stephen, but a lot of the offense runs through him when he's in the low post. The perimeter players do a good job of cutting and moving when he has the ball.
Look at that, fellas. The rest of the team, 5 of 19. That's the first miss for Bookout. He's 5 of 6. The rest of the Sooners, 5 of 19. Smith got caught in midair, turned it over. Everett leaving it for Bookout, and that's going to be a block against the Panthers. Chris Hill trying to get back, and he's tagged with the foul in his second.
Everett was very fortunate. Was out of control. Looked like a charge to me, Mike.
He looked like he took it right on the chest and was clearly an established defensive guarding position.
And Rob Jeter has that sarcastic smile as he discusses matters with Jerry Meter, one of the officials. Hardest call in the game, isn't it? Yes. Has been and forever will be, I suppose, the block charge.
Right, just now I think with the athletes today, they're so fast that things happen so quickly. It's tough to, you never want to beat the referees up in that situation until you've stood out there with a whistle in your mouth.
Off the ball, McCoy and Taj Gray were tied up. And Jason McCoy, senior from Houston, Milby High School, and a Rutgers transfer, picks up the foul.
Mike, early in the game, you mentioned with the lob to Joa Tucker, there was no ball pressure. We're seeing a similar situation with Milwaukee. Oklahoma's able to get the ball inside anytime they want. Boo Davis and Hanson are going to really have to pressure the pass to allow McCoy and Ford to play effective defense on the interior.
There's nothing worse than a post defender working hard and then having the perimeter be lazy so that you could get that easy look in.
Shot clock winding down. Longar is coming to the game, replacing Bookout. And there's Godbolt with a runner off the glass. The lead that was 10 down to 3 now. Another 9-2 run. This one for Oklahoma in the last 4 minutes.
Degree of difficulty 9.9 on that run by Godbolt. Going out of bounds off the glass.
It also allows you to get back in transition much easier. They had 5 white jerseys back, and they forced the Panthers to get into their half-court set.
Ford, Longar tried for the foul, and the display was simply a flop, and Kelvin Sampson a little upset with him for attempting that. 28-23.
Those are bonus points for the Panthers.
Oh, Gray took a step after Milwaukee had gone to sleep. He just anticipated it. Sometimes you can have too many hops. And in this case, Taj Gray's got that, right? Uh-oh. Too much lift. No need for the vertical there, Taj. We'll be right back.
To the true fan, the whole year comes down to just one weekend. The 2006 NCAA Men's Final Four. In the biggest ticket giveaway in NCAA history, only Pontiac is sending 100 fans to see it live. You have 5 days left to get to your Pontiac dealer. Get your ID number, Log it in at ncaasports.com/Pontiac and see if these seats will be yours when the Final Four comes down to just one. Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA.
We're the Slowskis. I'm Bill, and this is my wife, Carolyn.
Hi.
We tried Comcast high-speed internet, but...
Everything downloaded so quickly.
Yeah.
We felt rushed.
Rushed is a good way to describe it. With DSL, we can download way slower than Comcast high-speed internet.
It's perfect. I mean, his middle name is Slow.
My middle name is Matthew.
I was joking.
Oh.
Go way faster than DSL with Comcast high-speed internet. It's Comcastic.
I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
No matter where you're headed, there's a Choice Hotel nearby, including Comfort Inn, Comfort Suites, Quality, Sleep Inn, Clarion, and Mainstay Suites. Right now, just stay 2 times and earn a free night with Choice privileges. For reservations, visit choicehotels.com. Choice Hotels. We'll see you there.
For all the extra hours you dedicate to your students, we think you deserve some extra credit. TIAA CREF, serving the retirement needs of those in the academic, medical, cultural, and research fields. Visit us online to find out how we can serve you. TIAA CREF, financial services for the greater good.
Plus, their guard play is so much stronger. They can basically go 9 people deep and not lose anything.
Yeah, the other guys are like starting maybe 6-man?
Right.
Maybe 6-man.
Right. Rejected! Don't you bring that weak tot action. You go strong to your mouth or you don't go at all.
Game day food. Nothing goes better with basketball than Sonic's chili cheese tots. Great for pre-game, post-game, pre-post-game, and post-post-game game. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Wisconsin, Milwaukee is led by as many as 10. They're up 5 now. Critics say the new adventures of Old Christine is laugh out loud funny. Julia Louis-Dreyfus stars in the new hit comedy right after a new 2.5 Men, Monday on CBS, America's #1 network.
You know, Steve, we look at this game and talk about momentum coming into the tournament. Oklahoma losing their last 2 games coming in, really getting beaten badly at Texas on Senior Day and then losing in the first round to Nebraska. So not a lot going for them coming into this game.
And you know, Coach Sampson told us yesterday, Mike, that he wasn't too upset that they got knocked out early in the Big 12 Conference Tournament, giving his team a blow and a rest. Doesn't seem to work thus far, though.
Longar gets tied up. Here, Wisconsin, Milwaukee up by 5. They led 24-14. That was the largest lead at one point. Oklahoma has never led in this game. 3:29 remaining, along with Mike Jaminski and Stephen Bardo, Tim Brando. Inbounds pass to Derek Ford, who's coming off the pine. He and Tigert now with a little high-low game working. That was a poor pass to Davis, but it's recovered by Tucker. Oh, a whirling dervish by Tucker. That one almost went in. Foul spotted underneath. May have been against Longar, the sophomore from the Sudan. Young man who is, as you can imagine, a raw talent.
Tucker showed us he's got some junk in his trunk, fellas. Takes the bump, has the strength to get it on the glass and gave it a chance, but Tucker showing his strength and creativity going to the glass.
You know, and I really count him as a big. I mean, he's only 6'5", but he's very strong and not afraid to go inside.
Well, coming up on Singular at the half, Greg Gumbel, Clark Kellogg, Seth Davis will take you out for a live look at all the action in the NCAA tournament, and they'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, plus Singular Naismith watch update, all coming up on Singular at the half. No better place for anyone to be on a day like this, right? And we've got a tie ball this time. The arrow does belong to Oklahoma.
Well, with all due respect, I think your 2 partners would still like to be out there playing a little bit. This is a close second, but the guys out on the floor, that's the best seat in the house.
At the end of the day, I'll have you sweating. Book out takes the pass, a long one again, and it's kicked out of bounds by Boo Davis.
Interesting tack that Oklahoma has taken, Stephen, in this press, and they've tried to throw that home run pass a lot of times just completely over the top and almost put Bookout in a bind that time.
And we see Bookout looks like he injured that hand.
Yep. that has been a problem, the wrist as well as that hand. It's like he's holding his groin area too.
See there his left hand
catching himself as he was going down, and he's, you know, that the navicular bone is such a, it takes a long time to heal, and he has really gutted it out by even playing through this year.
He's had that navicular bone break since way back against Texas Tech on January the 21st. He's been playing through it ever since.
And I don't care if that's a femur bone. That's 270 pounds. He's trying to stop full speed.
How about Everett piercing that double team? And the bank is open very early in the day here in Jacksonville. 8 in the game for Terrell Everett.
We talked about his size. He is going to be dangerous and tough to stop in the paint.
Off the ball, foul spotted against Terrell Everett, trying to deal with Tucker, who was running a cutter down along the baseline. Second foul on Everett.
And the nightmare matchup, Mike, that you talked about, Tucker now Everett trying to guard Tucker, goes right to the block, uses his strength and picks up the foul.
See, they're re-wrapping that wrist of Bookout on the sidelines. Hansen rejected by Gray. Loose ball, Gray trying to throw it off Hansen. I think he may have done that as Hansen was falling out of bounds. That's a tough one for the officials to deal with regard to possession. Avery Smith will come back onto the floor. 2 and change remaining here in the opening half. Wisconsin-Milwaukee has led by as many as 10 in the game, 24-14. It's been a game of runs, a 9-2 run followed by a 9-0 run. The answer is coming from Milwaukee mostly because of the outstanding play inside of Kevin Bookout, who is sitting down right now after re-aggravating his wrist injury from way back in January.
But Tim, I think Oklahoma's done a nice job with the steal right there of grabbing a hold of the tempo of this game in the second 10 minutes here.
Everett, the alley-oop, longer, gets longer, and puts it in. It's 29-27.
Boy, Terrell Everett is showing us what he is made of in this first half. We've seen an assortment of runners and lob passes to his bigs for easy buckets.
And Neal with the defensive pressure forces the timeout from Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Bookout looking to check back into the game. As we mentioned, he aggravated that injury a moment ago. How about a little plastic man extension from the man called Longar? We'll be right back.
Want to get a lot of people looking at your car? Then list it on Autotrader.com. More people go to Autotrader.com to find a car than anywhere else. That's why it's the ultimate automotive marketplace. Autotrader.com, the smarter place to buy and sell a car.
Kevin Bookout checking into the game. He's been the most valuable Sooner to this point, but a nice highlight for Longar, who really is the perfect complement, a completely different kind of post player, Mike.
Well, and I think that you get, you get baskets like that. It's found money. He's only averaging 2 points a game, but for him to get out in the open floor and score for you is a big boost.
Boo Davis induces the foul from Michael Neal, junior from Mesquite, Texas, and Lon Morris Junior College. That's his first foul of the afternoon. A fairly foul-free game for the most part, given the level of intensity that both teams have had defensively.
And the pace, when it's starting quickly or whether Oklahoma is able to slow it down a little bit. As you mentioned, not a lot of fouls, but going back to Boo Davis's last attempt that time, he seems like he's a little impatient. Shooting 2 of 5 from the field, but he's got to be a little bit more patient within their offense.
This is a young man that Rob Jeter believes has come farther both on and off the court in the time he spent at Wisconsin-Milwaukee than anyone else. 31-27. Wisconsin-Milwaukee out of the Horizon League, won that tournament championship. Making the adjustment with a new coach after Bruce Pearl vacated the premises for a lot of green in the land of orange at Tennessee.
Well, I think if you're Rob Jeter, you've worked so hard, you've had the lead the whole half. You want to try to finish this half strongly and keep that.
Well, there's that pass off a missed shot you were talking about, Mike, is Taj Gray way too strong, but it's cleaned up by Nate Carter.
Give him an assist.
31-29.
And the Panthers have not reacted well to the zone that Oklahoma. That's the thing I think that's really kind of calmed them down in the half court.
And you notice Milwaukee does not pass the ball around the perimeter quickly nor crisply enough to get open look.
Tigers, look at Smith keeping it alive. And a wonderful play as he throws it off Bookout's shin, so Wisconsin-Milwaukee will keep possession.
Everett down on the floor, Tim, with an injury on the baseline. Looked like he got hit in the face.
Yeah, he is in some pain down there. A lot of contact in those loose ball situations.
Now, this is the NCAA tournament, and we've had a couple people go down. Bookout going down already, and this is on the weak side, and it looks like his own teammate did him in on that play.
Nate Carter.
Yeah, just kind of coming in, trying to be aggressive, knocked the ball out of bounds, and on the follow-through, caught Everett right in the face.
Austin Johnson will come in for him, the freshman out of Amarillo, Texas. I mean, this is one guy that they really cannot afford to lose. How many times do we say that about NCAA tournament teams? And usually it's the guy playing point guard that teams cannot afford to lose.
And your point guards navigate the way through the NCAA tournament.
Another rejection by Gray. He's had 2 of them today. Make that 3. So very active.
Tim, if I'm Rob Jeter right now, I have my guys go all out pressure with Everett on the bench.
McCoy, that shot was affected by Gray's presence. And the tip in goes to Adrian Tiger. He has 6.
Austin Johnson much more shaky with the basketball certainly than Everett. So you want to try to get into him and make him, freshen, make him handle the ball with the bright lights on.
Neal runs the curl. Oh, the iron unkind, pulled down by Gray.
Well, they read the scouting report that time. Neal had an open look before, but Boo Davis closed as the release came. Good job of Milwaukee in the half-court defense.
Gray, that's a nice move, and Bookout set it up with the low pick.
Set play that time.
That's the end of the first half. Our score 33-31. Wisconsin-Milwaukee. We'll send you to Greg and Singular at the half. After these messages, you're watching CBS Sports on our 25th road to the Final Four.
The world has always been inspired by the sleek design and technological innovations of the Lexus RX.
Successo qualcosa?
Disaster. But now that we've made it even more powerful, the competition might find themselves somewhat at a loss. Introducing the new 270 horsepower RX 350 from Lexus, putting the world on notice yet again.
Fancy beach house works with a lot of women, doesn't it?
Honestly, it's like a G-spot with 2 mortgages.
I am not getting one of those Brazilian waxes. I did that once. It was like a hair arrow pointing to my C-section.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Where's my underwear?
The New Adventures of Old Christine after 2.5 Men, CBS Monday.
Steve without Jack in the world premiere movie, Time Bomb, CBS Sunday.
Things made from wood. The sound of a V8 engine. Sunday afternoons. That little smile. These are my reasons to live.
Rated best in the Milwaukee area for overall cardiac services by Health Grades. Again, another reason to choose Pro Healthcare.
I've got a reason to live.
You know, with most wireless companies, you get charged for incoming calls. So say this door is your cell phone and all these people are incoming calls. Watch. Charge. 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 Now watch what happens with U.S. Cellular. No charge, no charge, no charge, no charge. No...
With free Call Me minutes, there's no charge for calls received in your local calling area.
Wrong number?
U.S. Cellular, we connect with you.
Chevy, the #1 selling cars, trucks, and SUVs in America. Don't miss your chance to get Auto Show bonus cash on various models. The Chevy 48-hour countdown is on. Get great deals on select Chevy vehicles during the 48-hour countdown. This Thursday, March 16th and Friday, March 17th is your chance to get Auto Show bonus cash on select Chevy vehicles and get additional bonus on select Chevy vehicles in inventory. Hurry, the Chevy 48-hour countdown ends Friday.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, raising the bar.
Welcome once again to our studios in New York, everyone. Singular at the Half, Greg Gumbel, along with Clark Kellogg and Seth Davis. In Salt Lake City, the Boston College Eagles, led by 9 at one point. Pacific has gone on an 11-4 run to pull into a tie at 28. Let's take you there live. Ian Eagle and Jim Spanarkel.
3:56 to go. BC 28, Pacific 28. Eagles came in feeling disrespected. We talked to Al Skinner about it yesterday. Not going to focus in on it with his team, but they felt they could have been higher than a 4 seed, and certainly getting the long trip from Boston here to Salt Lake City, 2,000 miles on the quick turnaround after the ACC tournament final. They get home on a Sunday, then Monday, a 9-hour trip out to Salt Lake City. Some plane trouble.
Going to be a timeout along the sideline.
It will.
Get the ball, and Al Skinner just to top it off, too. Also mentioned, Ian, yesterday we were speaking to him that he wasn't sure how much credit the ACC got as a league with the selection committee.
No bid for Florida State, no bid for Maryland. Skinner felt both deserved.
The world has always been inspired by the sleek design and technological innovations of the Lexus RX.
Successo qualcosa?
Disaster. But now that we've made it even more powerful, the competition might find themselves somewhat at a loss. Introducing the new 270 horsepower RX 350 from Lexus, putting the world on notice yet again.
All tied up here in Salt Lake City, 28-28. The winner here will take on the winner of the Nevada-Montana game coming up here at the Huntsman Center.
It'll be interesting to see how this last 3.5 goes to the Pacific, because the first 4 minutes of this game, they were really non-existent in terms of being comfortable on the floor. BC established an early inside game. Pacific, though, for the next 12 minutes, won that portion of the game.
Check out pump fake from Webb. Yeah, BC looked unstoppable through the first 4.5 minutes of this first half.
And you notice even with the passing and the cuts, nice little lob to Morica.
Oh, perfectly done. Esparza on the floating pass to Morica for the finish.
In sports, it's a funny thing. When a team loses their confidence for a short period of time, it's almost like they're entirely deflated. You can just sense now that the air has been pumped back in, the energy air, and this team just looks much more comfortable right now.
Boston College, one field goal over the last 6 minutes, as that one didn't go down for McLean. Johnson, a 3.
Even the shots that they're missing, they're confident, they're pulling up. They just look like, hey, that ball's supposed to go down, and that's the way you're supposed to shoot the ball, with confidence.
13th seeded Pacific leading number 4 BC, 30-28, as we approach 2 minutes to go in this first half. Here's McLean. Trying to ride their senior, Craig Smith.
It's a little tighter inside with Pacific laid back.
And a foul call. It was Brown on the strong side.
And Morica doing a good job of pushing Smith up to get his body going towards the basket. And Morica, just the guy who puts up 16 double-doubles this season, has very good hands and can deliver off the catch, doing a nice job of positioning against Craig Smith that time. And as we've touched on, Craig Smith, a little bit of power and strength to try to move him up away from the basket, but he did it successfully.
17 foul against Pacific, 1-1 for BC. Smith missed on a pair of free throws earlier. And the first one is good. 66% shooter. Causes matchup problems because of all that weight he brings, something Bob Thomason was concerned with coming into the game, but they've done a pretty good job. Smith has gotten his. He has 9 points and 5 rebounds, but certainly has not dominated in this first half.
Remember that first word when we asked Thomason what his concern was? I think the first word, he said, they're thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. But you get around thickness by moving and being smart and using your feet and being patient.
Under 2 minutes to go now. Moriker stripped by Smith and a steal.
There's Smith's ability to move his feet. Even with his frame, he's got some soft toes.
Open look. Marshall has not been involved here in this first half.
There's some numbers if they hurry. 4 on 2.
Johnson, extra feed, down the middle, and a foul called as Anthony Brown took it strong. All tied up at 30. And Brown to the free throw line. 54% shooting. He's a redshirt freshman out of Sacramento, California. And second free throw coming. Not a lot of depth up front for Thomason. Brown, one of the bigger bodies that he has coming off the bench at 6'7", 225.
And that could play into the second half. 4 or 5 minutes left in this game, whether the size of BC wears some people out in the Pacific end. But I've always thought in the NCAA tournament, you know, you got the whole summer to get yourself back in shape and worried about the bruises. Just let it all go. And the Pacific so far is doing just that in the first half.
Pacific up by 1. And a step in, near steal for Johnny Gray, but it's out of bounds. 14 seconds left on the shot clock, 1:22 to play in the first half. Kinnett will toss it in for BC. Double-digit scoring for Smith and Dudley. No surprise there, but very little from anyone else for Boston College.
That's why I think Pacific wants to force this ball out to the perimeter, make other guys rather than Smith here score.
Oh, that's creative. Smith on a spin move and a floater.
Well, I'd like to see him playing tight end also, but in this sport, he's pretty good. He can really use the footwork, and he's so patient using the size and strength, and he shoots the ball only when he's ready to go.
Gray able to get rid of it. Esparza now attacking on the dish, and the layup for Brown.
Esparza is like a wild card with Pacific. He does so many things that goes unnoticed, but right there, how about that strong middle attack? Stop at the free throw line, don't create a charging opportunity.
And a touch foul on Gray out front against Marquez Haynes.
See, Esparza just stops, and the good catch and delivery down deep. Smart basketball. Brown with the finish. Anytime Esparza gets it, he's kind of with the left hand. He's a little unorthodox with it, but aggressive and really a difficult guy to figure out what he's going to do, especially on the move and the fly.
18 foul against Pacific. Haynes at the free throw line, a scoring point guard, a freshman from Irving, Texas. Heavily recruited by the likes of Illinois and Colorado and Oklahoma. And able to hit on the first. Coming up tonight on The Late Show, Dave's got Charles Barkley, plus a special top 10 list with speed skating gold medalist Chad Hedrick. That's tonight, The Late Show, here on CBS. 2 out of 2 for Haynes, a 56% shooter.
He comes into the game also, Haynes, to really give them a lift offensively. Played well against Duke in the championship game of the ACC.
Mike Webb back on for Pacific. Final 38 seconds.
1-2-2 look by BC right now, changing their defense up a bit.
And the Tigers handle the pressure. 5-second difference. Shot clock to game clock winding down here in the first half.
And BC has to remember, too, if they do miss a shot, they'll have more like 7 probably, not the differential, because the shot will go up. So they'll have plenty of time to go down the other way.
Here's Gray. 10 to shoot.
And it's pretty good off the ball defender.
Down to 5 on the clock. Gray, the drive, and hit it. Went for the two-handed block, and a foul call.
You're very infrequently are you going to get the call when you're coming from behind. You see him coming from behind to make this play. The officials and just a basketball instinct. Now you're beaten as a defender. You come from the right side and swipe at the ball. Very, very infrequently are you going to get that call.
So the senior Hinnant picks it up. And Johnny Gray, an 88% free throw shooter at the line.
with Hinnett out front, who's pretty quick, a foot also. Gray showed us a little bit of speed, and timeliness in terms of the way he attacked.
Missing on the first. Gray, a reserve guard as a junior, and it's really come on strong in his senior season. Moriker and Esparza will sit with 9.1.
That's always just to save a foul opportunity, because crazy plays occur in the last 10 seconds of a half, and so you want to make sure you're better players. You don't really pick up a scramble foul to change the tempo going into the second half.
1 out of 2 for Gray, and we're all tied up at 34.
So Pacific and Boston College are tied at 34 with 9 seconds to play in the first half. Thank you for joining us here on Singular at the Half. We will get you back to Jacksonville for the second half in just a moment.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, raising the bar.
We are the men and women of the United States Army Reserve. We are regular people who share our time serving our country and our communities. Our training makes us stronger as soldiers and as citizens who stand ready.
To find out how you can serve your country in the Army Reserve, call for this free DVD and get a free sports watch. Stand ready in the Army Reserve.
Get ready for something this refreshing. Introducing Listerine Pocket Mist, the refreshing way to kill 99% of bad breath germs. New Listerine Pocket Mist. Kill the germs, feel the fresh.
Enterprise rental car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be number one.
They are number one.
So if Enterprise is number one, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Yeah, I have a little attitude, but I've earned it. I've put in the hours. I practice every day. I've learned from the best, and I have no doubt that I can play at the highest level. Right now, I'm guessing I'll end up in either Chicago or New Orleans. Most good jazz musicians do.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
It's time to look at another candidate in the Singular Naismith Watch. Nevada's junior forward Nick Fazekas has earned his second straight Western Athletic Conference Player of the Year award while leading the Wolfpack to the NCAA tournament. A reminder, you can text PLAY to 87654 on your wireless phone for a chance to take the court with Naismith greats at the upcoming Final Four, and also to take a shot at $5 million. For more details about this, you can simply log on to cbssportsline.com.
We're back in Jacksonville here in the Minneapolis bracket. Wisconsin, Milwaukee by only 2 over Oklahoma. Back with more of the NCAA basketball tournament in a moment.
An idea is born to build a vehicle that defies classification, inspired by sports car design and propelled by a 320 horsepower engine. This brave idea is called the FX, and it's from a company called Infinity.
Men don't like to shave. They'd rather light their shorts on fire or eat dirt. Easy, fellas. Nivea soothes the pain of shaving. With moisturizers and vitamins, Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm soothes and improves. Nivea for Men, more evolved skincare.
Is it true you do more brakes than anyone?
Absolutely. Is something burning?
Oh, those are Fred's old brakes.
Come to the best. Midas, America's leader in brakes. You'll get pads or shoes for just $99.95 installed, backed by a nationwide lifetime guarantee.
Trust the Midas touch.
Since you haven't had an accident for over 3 years, I got you a great discount. Okay. And I even got you a discount for having your airbags.
Booyah!
And because you have your renter's insurance with us, you save even more. Now you're covered, so to speak.
Oh, baby Yankee!
Bame. Oh! Oh! We good. Join our 40 million fans as State Farm salutes NCAA March Madness. Call an agent today.
Hi.
Hi.
I need this package there by tomorrow.
Sure, no problem.
Great, thank you.
Come on. Less support for higher education means fewer innovations, like overnight delivery and the Google search engine.
All right, let's go. Sacramento. Come on. Let's go.
America's colleges and universities. We teach the people who solve the problems and change the world.
Schieffer, the most experienced Washington reporter in broadcasting. We think Bob is the best news anchor on the air today. More people are watching the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
Jump in and buckle up with the teams of the Amazing Race.
Let's see how fast you are.
And speed around Germany's world-famous test track. A new Amazing Race, CBS Tuesday.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gumbel in New York. We have word coming out of San Diego, which is one of the sites of our games today, that Cox Arena has been evacuated while law enforcement officials continue to investigate a suspicious package that was found inside earlier today. Alabama and Marquette are set to tip off at 2:40 Eastern Time. We'll keep you updated as more details become available. Timeout, and we'll continue in a moment.
Just sit right back and grab some tails, the tails of some tasty shrimp. Sensations now at Applebee's are really worth the trip. Sauteed, crisp fried, fire grilled, served on a handy skewer. So many shrimp you'll want to plan a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. So join us here this week, my friend. It's time for eating good. Shrimp sensations new at Applebee's in your neighborhood.
A tradition unlike any other, the Masters on CBS.
All those brands you've always wished would go on sale are now on sale. Boston Store's Goodwill Sale. For every apparel item you bring in, you get a coupon good for 20% off. Now through March 27th. Wishes do come true. Boston Store. This is so you.
Oh, good luck.
It's only human nature to wonder if there isn't something better out there. Introducing Shore West TV, the 24-hour real estate channel featuring every Shore West listing. How do you know if you don't look?
At Ford, we believe that you should get more. More security. Only found with the Ford 500. The safest car on the road. It's peace of mind that's truly in a class of its own. Buy or lease a new Ford 500, and we'll match your down payment up to $1,000. That means you get up to $4,000 towards your down payment, or choose 0% financing on the safest car on the road. Visit your local Ford store today.
Turn something old into something new during Boston Store's Goodwill Sale. For every apparel item you bring in, you get a coupon good for 20% off. Boston Store's Goodwill Sale. This is so you.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the Men's Basketball Championship is sponsored by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, Southwest Airlines, Chevrolet, and by Gatorade.
At halftime, with Stephen Bardo and Mike Jaminski, Tim Brando, it's Wisconsin-Milwaukee leading by 2. And as you look at the numbers at halftime, it's amazing to think these guys are even in field goal attempts, rebounds, assists, fouls, and turnovers.
Yeah, but Oklahoma had 22 points in the paint, and that's what's kept them in the first half against this pressure defense of Milwaukee.
And I think the thing, if you're Kelvin Sampson, that you're disturbed with is that Milwaukee is rebounding with you. That's an area that this team should dominate. And really for them, I think that Neal and Gray are the two guys that need to come alive in the second half.
Yes, they actually averaged 27 points between them. Only 7 on 3 of 13 shooting for that tandem in the first half. And maybe the good news for Oklahoma is that they're only down 2 with that being a fact.
Well, and they did that by reestablishing their tempo. This game is right now headed to the 60s, which is exactly where Kelvin Sampson wants it. Let's see if the Panthers, Stephen, can amp up the pace a little bit here.
You bet that's what Jeter was talking about in the locker room, trying to get some made field goals.
Rob Jeter, outstanding young coach of this Wisconsin-Milwaukee team. Opening moments of the second half, and the floater from Boo Davis. He's had 3 of those today, 1 using the glass. And it's now a 4-point lead for Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Opening seconds, Godbolt goes over the top of the pressure and is fouled by Chris Hill.
Sooners taking a page out of the football coach's book that time. That's how they've broken this press, sending guys long and on the post pattern and hooking up.
Yeah, Bob Stoops may want to talk to Kelvin Sampson about some of his guards. The passing game was a bit of an issue at Oklahoma this year. And Godbolt gets to the free throw line. Sophomore from Douglas High School in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Chris Hill picking up his 3rd foul. Now, Rob Jeter does have some depth in his team. A number of interchangeable parts, really, to this Wisconsin-Milwaukee club.
Yeah, and they really don't get hurt when they go to the bench. Even though Hill averages double figures, we saw Avery Smith come in, was quite capable of scoring and bringing the rock up against pressure.
That's what that swing offense does. You can get guys in, you can put guards inside, bigs outside. There is a lot of flexibility to that. Right now, I think the Panthers need to work on, I'm sure this was talked about at halftime, their productivity against the zone that the Sooners threw out there.
Same starting 5s for both teams. By the way, Kevin Bookout did aggravate that left wrist injury. It's been broken since late January, and it remains broken, but he's playing tough with it. Everett was poked into the eye, but his vision is fine. He'll be able to play the rest of the way. Tucker had that one obstructed by Godbolt, and it's cleared out to Terrell Everett. Godbolt a step back off the feed from Everett. He drains the tray, and that ties the game at 35.
Well, I think somehow with Everett, you've got to sit on that left hand as he's coming up the floor. Make him go right. If he can get that way inside, he's just too dangerous.
And he did an old crafty move, what guards do coming up the floor. He followed Tigert into the paint, almost using him as an extra screen trying to get to the paint.
How about that little duck under by Tigert? Makes it a 37-35 game. Oklahoma has never led in this afternoon's game. They tied it again as Everett, with the pull-up, makes it 37-37.
Poor communication by Milwaukee. That's the second time Everett was able to get into the paint using the big men, Tucker and Tigert.
And the foul committed by Jason McCoy after Everett got in the way in the passing lane. Oklahoma has the energy in the opening moments of the second half here in Jacksonville.
Introducing the new Chevy HHR. An American Revolution.
Imagine seeing a network that connects us all. SBC and AT&T have joined forces to create the most complete and secure network on Earth, so you can create a world unlike any other. Yours. Introducing the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Hi.
No! Use your Capital One no-hassle card.
Protect yourself with Capital One's low rates and great rewards.
I'm so there for you. What's in your wallet?
It's the hot thing in activewear. Bengay's Ultra Strength Pain Relieving Patch. Now even stronger for deep heating relief. And it lasts up to 8 hours. Try the Ultra Strength Bengay Pain Relieving Patch. It's what's hot in pain relief.
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, fly to 61 destinations for just $49 to $159.
You're a CSI Miami agent, and you're trained for this. But you freeze anyway, putting lives at risk, and everybody knows it.
Where'd you pull the Statue of Liberty?
I didn't have a clean shot. New CSI Miami, Monday.
Get your degree in madness at CSTV.
Get ready. There's a new kind of madness coming to a new night. Catch the return of Out of Practice, Wednesday, only on CBS.
We're tied at 37. And near the end of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team to honor their determination and outstanding play. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. America's brand supports America's best. Chevy, an American revolution. You can bet Milwaukee will not be flustered seeing Oklahoma's energy early on. They start 5 seniors on this team, the only tournament team to do that. In many ways, Rob Jeter's had to call upon the experience of his players because he's never been here.
Yeah, and rely on it in the fact that this is a team that went to the Sweet 16 last year. Most of that is still in place, and I thought that time Tigert a better job defensively. He'd had a lapse, not getting turned around and focused in the last 2 possessions.
They've never trailed. Their largest lead was at 10 in the first half, 24-14. Oklahoma's been very effective since the end of the first half. They've scored on 7 straight possessions until that turnover a moment ago. Bookout picks up the foul, his first of the afternoon.
Good recognition by Tucker, knowing Bookout doesn't have the foot speed to stay with him one-on-one. Gets to the paint and draws the foul.
This young man has really adapted well to a new style, and he was the guy that everyone looked to, no doubt about it. Well, don't forget, coming up, March Madness rolls on. First round action from around the nation. I love that Marquette-Alabama matchup, fellas, and certainly here we've got an incredible story with Billy Donovan going up against John Pelfrey. He was one of the unforgettables while Billy was an assistant coach for Rick Pitino. They've become very close friends. He was on his staff at Florida for 8 years.
And I think that you look at that Marquette game, Tim, that they may have been the surprise team in the Big East. They laid it on UConn for their first loss of the year.
They've got that essential aspect that you need in tournaments, and that's the ability to hit the 3, and Novak is just that guy. Inside Bookout, rejected by McCoy, but Tigert is whistled for the foul underneath prior to the rejection.
And carry on that point. Think about it. Some pretty good basketball being played in the state of Wisconsin. Very representative in this tournament. There's the come from behind, but the body by Bookout. This is an area, Stephen, I think that Oklahoma has to do a better job getting to the free throw line. They only had 1 attempt in that first half. They need to do a better job and get to the line more frequently.
And they were getting good looks inside. They had 22 points in the paint, but I agree with you. Bookout really has an advantage over Tigert. He struggled trying to keep him away from the basket in the first half.
You look at our game tracks up at the top of your screen. Wichita State has had their way with Seton Hall most of the day. Christian Marker and company from Pacific tied with Boston College. And BC's one of those teams that a lot of people have coming through that Villanova bracket.
The only thing I thought, Tim, is they played a tough Duke team on Sunday and to travel out to Salt Lake City on Thursday. Tough turnaround.
Absolutely. That seems to be a bigger issue for the coaches than really the seeding process. Location and matchup seems to matter more than seeding in this year's tournament. Terrell Everett along with Godbold in the backcourt. Gray trying to get free. Outstanding defensive work by Jason McCoy and an Oklahoma turnover.
Well, and he anticipated the pass instead of the shot, and he stayed with it defensively, which is why he got the steal.
And I think the interior defenders of Milwaukee, Tigert and McCoy, have adjusted to guarding Bookout and Gray. Have to use their athleticism as opposed to trying to lean against them because they're going to lose that match every time.
Davis over Bookout. Godbold clears. Tigert picks himself up off the deck. Again, Oklahoma shooting for a lead, something they haven't had all afternoon.
That time, Booth Davis did a good job of forcing Everett. You were talking about Tim to his right, as opposed to letting him come back left.
Turns it over, lost the dribble. Here's Tucker, right where he wants to be. Count it, and a foul. Godbold picks up the personal.
And that's, you know, Tucker just had him on his heels. He never got set, always off balance. The good crossover dribble, and he is so strong. Impressive finishing with his right hand, too, on that.
Hey, that's grown man strength at the hole right there. There's weight room strength and there's grown man strength, and Joe Tucker has a little bit of both.
We talked about it earlier. When you have a star talent like Tucker, who's accustomed to loading up that stat sheet with 25, 30 points, he really had to understand that with Rob Jeter, the ball distribution was going to be a bigger factor.
Well, he's got teammates that can get it done. Boo Davis and Tiger, Chris Hill, they've all been down this road before. McCoy, not necessarily a tremendous scorer, but he understands the rhythm offensively that they need to have to be successful.
Again, over the top to Carter. That's a wonderful inbounds by Terrell Everett. On the foul underneath. A little pushing and shoving going on with Derek Ford and Kevin Book out. Ford gets the foul, his first.
Team foul starting to pile up now for Milwaukee.
I'm a little surprised at the Milwaukee defenders inside. Ford forcing Book out of his comfort zone, but still trying to front. I know they believe in their defensive principles, but once you get a guy outside of his range, you may want to stay behind him and force him to take a tough shot.
That was the 14th foul, and that's in 4 minutes' time in this second half, picked up by Milwaukee. Oklahoma's turned it over 3 times in their last 4 trips. And again, contact underneath. This foul goes against Boo Davis. That's 5 team fouls in just over 4 minutes. We'll be back.
Nothing is more powerful than the truth, and the truth is more Americans choose Chevy than any other brand.
See why during the Chevy NCAA March Madness event. Check out Chevy Cobalt LS with an EPA estimated 34 highway miles per gallon. Get a 2006 Cobalt LS Coupe with an MSRP starting at $12,990. Or get it for less during the Chevy NCAA March Madness event. See your local Chevy dealer.
Introducing the rebirth of cool. Gatorade Rain. Start crisp. Finish clean. Stay cool in the heat. Gatorade Rain.
Showtime, baby! Are you kidding? Oh, give me a break. Oh, can't handle me. Oh, I got fouled, man. I'd do anything for delivery pizza, baby. Oh, thanks, like Hector, baby! Oh, you need some help. Hey, that's my delivery pizza!
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Little help, baby.
Only 1 in 4 people are very confident they have saved enough for retirement. Who can help you feel more confident about your future? The Hartford. Prepare to live your future the way you've always seen it. See your advisor about the latest products and solutions from The Hartford, because you're not preparing to retire, you're preparing to live. The Hartford. Prepare to live.
What kind of kiss would you like? How about a free kiss from Earthlink? Get a free Kiss spyware scan to help kiss spyware goodbye. Visit earthlink.net for a free spyware scan today.
Little help, baby! Little help! Hey, that's my delivery pizza!
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Wisconsin-Milwaukee maintains a 3-point lead. Sunday on CBS, time is running out for a victim buried alive. Catch a new episode of the new hit drama, Cold Case. Sunday on CBS, America's #1 network. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, Stephen Bardo, happy to have you with us. This really sort of counter-punching approach that both teams have had. Only one double-digit lead owned by Wisconsin-Milwaukee very early in the first half. Oklahoma has tied this game on 4 different occasions. And now they're within one after that marvelous inbounds play to Taj Gray.
Marvelous or a breakdown defensively, and that's the thing. I thought they had to sniff out that mismatch. Joe Tucker is guarding Taj Gray inside, and I just think they need to put pressure on Tucker to make him defend.
Milwaukee struggling against the zone. Only 3 of 14 from 3. They've got to figure out a way to get some better looks.
Well, I think with Tigert out, that's the guy that's going to help them to get into the high post and make some plays out of that zone.
Now, right now, Derek Ford is in there. Taj Gray off the front iron. Pulled down by Avery Smith. Well, he's got a motor. He and Hansen are back in the game. Alan Hansen, the junior from Milwaukee.
Excuse me, Tim. You saw Tucker play behind Gray because he had him out of his range. So Gray takes a turnaround jumper and front ends it. Good defensive adjustment by Joe Tucker.
Davis on the pop out, and he pops it. 45-41. Boo Davis.
One way to knock you out of the zone.
That's right.
Michael Neal on the floor in the backcourt along with Taj Gray, Book out, Nate Carter, and Terrell Everett. Those are the 5 of the 4 for the Sooners. Ford, Alan Hansen, along with Avery Smith, Tucker, and Davis for Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and a foul spotted prior to the shot. And it goes against Derek Ford. Second foul on Derek. Oklahoma, we talked about the way they finished the year, but maybe one of the advantages, guys, coming into this tournament is they have won a lot of close games.
They've won a lot of close games, but you notice the teams that they played against in terms of Texas Tech and the like. They really had to come down to the end to get it done, but right now they're facing a little bit different team in Milwaukee that is trying to speed them up, but, you know, Oklahoma doing a pretty good job so far getting the ball inside.
Bookout's been the answer most of the day. Turned 23 this morning. Taj Gray actually had a birthday this past Tuesday, so the birthday boys are the bookends on the low block for the Sooners as Tucker comes away with the rebound. He's left wide open. There's a breakdown. Halfway down the cylinder and out. And a foul underneath as Tigert gets in there. Fighting for that rebound. Taj Gray picks it up, his second.
That's the hard thing, Timmy. In transition, you're conditioned to go back into the paint and then build out defensively. With this team, you've got to spot guys out on the perimeter in transition. They're not afraid, you know, Davis and Tucker will launch that.
Tucker lost it. Book out, knocks it away. He's not taking a shot in the second half. 6.5 minutes deep. He was the leading man as Everett picks up the player control foul. That one will go the other way. And that's foul number 3 on Terrell Everett.
Avery Smith did just what you said, Mike, in terms of standing on Everett's left hand as he tries to make that penetrating move.
I think the key, you know, you always try to take away strengths and make a guy beat you with his weaknesses, and you make a great player average by making him go to his offhand consistently.
Davis has it knocked away by Everett, playing with those 3 fouls. Kelvin Sampson, particularly interesting, that nice defensive play, says, Austin Johnson, you get in there.
And let's follow up on that point. Let's see now with Everett out, if they really turn up the heat pressure-wise, talking about Milwaukee, try to get into this young freshman's head.
Because right now you're talking about the freshman coming in, Johnson, and Godbold is not a particularly strong ball handler as well, so.
There's another loss opportunity for Tiger. And Milwaukee can't believe it. They felt the ball was interfered with, and certainly the rim had been hit by hand.
He came up through the net, through the rim. The rim was shaking while the shot was going on. That had to be interference.
Loose ball. Tucker has numbers. Tiger is with him. 4-on-2. Wrap around. Oh, yes. What a pass by Tucker as he wrapped it around on the baseline.
And it's even all of a sudden the pace changes here in the last couple of possessions.
Yep, and they seem to be energized by that non-call right there.
And just that quickly, Terrell Everett is back at the scorer's table. And an offensive foul going against Gray. This is now an 8-2 run, and this is a big miss, but sometimes those misses can pump some adrenaline into your team.
Here's the look, and coming over from the weak side, going up through the rim, hitting the net, shaking the basket.
Yeah, that's a rec summer league play. He got away with it.
And Rob Jeter, usually composed on the sideline, was quite animated and had some choice words for the ref.
6 turnovers in the last 5 minutes now for OU. Boo Davis over Gray. Nothing but nylon. The lead back to 9. 8 minutes gone here in Jacksonville. Timeout, Oklahoma. These guards for Wisconsin, Milwaukee have depth and length with their shot. Boo will do.
Hey, it's... Your call dropped again, didn't it? Nope, just calling my brother to say, hey, it's... about the game. No, just wanted to say, hey, it's... There's a lot between my brother and me, so my tone on those words, hey, it's, really expresses everything I need to say to him.
Tired of dropped calls? Switch to Singular. Singular's all-over network has the fewest dropped calls of any wireless network. The leading independent research company proved it.
Hey, it's me. I'm here with...
Singular, raising the bar.
Tim Brando, Stephen Bardo, and Mike Jaminski. And Stephen, we've got to give props to Mike. The moment Everett left the game, he said it will be interesting to see how they handle the pressure. And Oklahoma, Mike, did a very poor job of handling the pressure with Everett out of the game.
Well, it's been turnovers, Timmy, and also, Stephen, the three-point shot now is starting to pile on Oklahoma, and it's a big weapon for the Panthers here late.
And they were struggling 3 of 14, and they've gone 2 of 3 here in the last few minutes. And they're very capable of turning it on quickly from the 3 with their pressure.
Michael Neal remains enigmatic today, unable to get free for shots. Here he is again, really being dogged by Boo Davis defensively. And Kelvin Sampson took that timeout 4 seconds before the television timeout area. So he certainly felt the need to stop the bleeding.
Yes, he did. And right here, though, I love the adjustment. We mentioned it earlier, what Milwaukee's done on the interior defensively.
Davis slashing to the rack. And this is the largest lead of 11, 52-41.
And because of the pace of the game,
that's a good defensive play, and he gets the timeout in midair. Boo Davis all over the place. That run is now 13-2. Sooners in some trouble against the 11th seed here in the Sunshine State.
Wow, that guy that took the elbow says he's in bad shape. He's better now. A kid from State may go pro. He decided not to. So Tech is favored to win. They didn't. How do you know? This is today's news. No, this is... Fine, phone boy.
Singular MediaNet. Latest scores, breaking news, bracket challenge. If you've got Singular, you can personalize your phone for NCAA March Madness.
To get a 2-for-1 deal in radial tires in here.
Singular, raising the bar.
Wisconsin, Milwaukee leading by 11. You know, Stephen, I know you've seen a lot of Oklahoma this year, and really the inability to get to an open Michael Neal has become a problem. Boo Davis is absolutely clamping down on him.
Boo Davis is doing a fine job of fighting through the picks that usually free Neal up along the perimeter, and doing a good job, almost like picking him up outside when they got off the bus and said, I got you all day, partner.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not a big fan. I think that's a rule change that needs to be made. I think a player should have both feet on the ground in order to make that timeout. But that being said, that's the rule. I'm not a big fan, Stephen, of calling a timeout in that situation, you know, especially in the second half. That may be too high a price to pay for that possession to burn a timeout you may need later.
In many respects, the equalizer to Kelvin Sampson calling that timeout with 4 seconds left before we were in a timeout zone. But Kelvin needed to get his point guard back on the floor. Can't blame him. Tucker is fouled by Godbold, who was running the baseline. Now that automatic timeout opportunity. We'll be right back.
Apparently, somebody was up late last night. Make that somebody's. And that's okay. 'Cause if you work hard, you play hard. Just don't look in the mirror, unless you're using Nivea for Men Revitalizing Lotion Q10. Q10 restores your skin, leaving it healthy and fit. Well, that takes care of your face, but don't forget about your eyes. Reduce puffiness and lose the dark circles with Revitalizing Eye Cream Q10. Nivea for Men, more evolved skincare.
Available features like 8-way power heated driver's seat, Bose premium sound system, and remote start with climate control. Introducing the all-new Impala. It's a whole new animal. Chevy Impala, an American revolution.
Come on! Save yourself! Get back. Yeah. Get back.
Dave, not cool.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
You see my moves back there? Still got it.
Introducing Papa's new Perfect Pan Meats Pizza. Our golden pan crust, deep and square, piled with pepperoni, sausage, ham, and bacon, with a zesty new Robusto sauce. Try a large Perfect Pan Meats Pizza for just $12.99. $12.99. Call now or order at papajohns.com and we'll deliver.
Better ingredients, better pizza, and now a better pan. Papa John's.
Yeah, we got it. You're gonna like these guys, though. They're a pretty good crew. Everybody listen up. This is Levon.
Hey, Levon, I'm 1 team.
You're on the 120 today.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's anything you need, just ask these guys. They'll take care of it, all right? Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You ever been around anything this fast before?
Yeah, in my last job.
See how Army training gives you strength for now, strength for later at GoArmy.com.
52-41, Wisconsin, Milwaukee leading by 11. Tim Brando, Stephen Bardo, Mike Jaminski, and Oklahoma has reached, even though we're still very early in the second half, a critical stage, a time for an answer.
I think two things, Tim. One, 14 turnovers, 5 in the second half. Milwaukee has not turned it over, so they really have gotten into the Sooners. And also that third scorer for Oklahoma has not emerged where it has for Milwaukee, so that's a problem. Both Gray and Neal very quiet to this point.
And we've seen in the second half, Everett has not been out of the game much, but as soon as he goes to the bench, those runs, those 5-0 runs take place from Milwaukee and give them the advantage.
It's as if defensively their eyes light up at the thought of seeing the freshman Austin Johnson on the floor. Everett being bothered by Davis. Davis is switched and now off of Neal. His not being on the floor has something to do with that. And there's another steal. Davis has Tucker with him. I think he got caught underneath the basket. He wanted to use the backboard and then got caught in no man's land. Godbold on the wing. That's a big three. And a 5-point swing, really.
And that's an unusual shot for Oklahoma. They typically don't look for the three in the fast break situation, but they desperately needed that one.
And I think that they've also, Milwaukee's done a good job of taking Bookout out of it. He hasn't had many touches. They've done a nice job of getting deflections and sealing him off.
Hasn't taken a shot in this half. McCoy trying to set the pick for Hill. Tigert flashes, the ball deflected by Godbold. Tigert fakes the give and then goes reversal. How sweet was that? Oh, that's a beautiful play.
Well, Bookout, what he did, he didn't realize that Tigert had his live dribble, and you can't play off your man that much because the minute he did, that was a great play.
That's what we call the okey doke right there. Gave him a little ball fake, and as you mentioned, took advantage along the baseline.
So Okie got doped is what you're telling me. Wisconsin, Milwaukee with a double-digit lead of 11. Taking control of this game with its perimeter play. And the foul given up by Godbold. 55-44. Look at Tiger's play here on the fake gig.
When your man has a live dribble, you can give some help, but you have to respect him primarily. And Tiger, I continue to fall in love with this kid, Steven. You know, he does so many things out on the floor. He's so versatile, makes passes, can knock down shots, does it all.
Fourth foul on Godbold. Boo Davis at the free throw line.
Oh, Boo Davis has really lit it up here in the second half, giving them the spark that they need.
With NCAA March Madness on demand, you can watch live tournament games on your computer outside of your viewing area for free. Sign up now at ncaasports.com/MMOD. How do you like that, fellas? If you happen to be at the office, you can just hit the boss button. I love that.
What do you think the boss feels about it?
Shoot, the boss is probably watching too. So
what's going on at Springsteen's house? Boo Davis takes a seat. 20 points, 12 of those in this half for Ronald Boo Davis, the senior from Chicago.
Oh, they got away with one right there.
Neal back in the game for Oklahoma. Joined by Terrell Everett, who's playing with 3. Godbold sitting now with 4 fouls. There's the runner, counted and a foul. Nice job by Terrell Everett.
He's going to get 3 points the old-fashioned way, but Steven, absent Neal's participation in this game, it's a big lead right now against an Oklahoma team that has trouble manufacturing points, and that's a great spin move inside by Everett.
I love the way Terrell Everett continues to probe the defense with the dribble. He uses different speeds and hesitation and his size over a smaller Avery Smith that time.
Sort of has you on a string defensively, doesn't it?
Right.
Doesn't come up with the free throw. So the lead is 11, 57-46, under 9 to play. Chris Hill operating in the backcourt along with Avery Smith. He's joined by McCoy, Derek Ford, and the star of this team, Joa Tucker, number 13. Yes. Too much penetration that time by Smith.
He does get happy feet there with the rock and tries to make a little bit too much happen. Trust your offensive sets.
Very quick shot by Oklahoma. And Wisconsin, Milwaukee now as we approach the 8-minute mark can really assume control of this game. And as you mentioned, Mike, a team that struggles in manufacturing offense at times, they could be in harm's way as another 3 is dropped through. Chris Hill.
Timmy, I think that Milwaukee reacts much better when their stars are out of the game than Oklahoma does. They have much more confidence in their guys who come in off the bench.
Taj Gray picks up the player control foul. That's 4 on Gray. Everett has 3. Godbold has 4. Milwaukee is looking good.
This is Gary Poole, a genial guy from Trenton, New Jersey. Gary's been married for almost 10 years, but until a recent trip to McDonald's, didn't know it. Gary had fresh brewed premium roast coffee with his McGriddles, and it was like he was seeing her for the very first time.
He had no idea we were married.
Gary thought she was cute, so it was okay.
It's like we're newlyweds all over again.
Start your morning with richer, bolder premium roast coffee and add a warm, tasty McGriddles. Wake up and smell your life.
I hope there aren't any other wives. Okay, I open the thermocare box, and I think, wow, what is this? And while I'm wondering what a heat wrap does, I realize, whoa, it gets hot. Then I put it on my aching back, and it really starts to sink in. The heat, I mean. It's like a heating pad without the cord. It goes anywhere. And before long, my aching back is not aching anymore. I feel like I could do backflips. Bad idea.
What kind of kiss would you like? How about a free kiss from Earthlink? Get a free Kiss spyware scan to help kiss spyware goodbye. Visit earthlink.net for a free spyware scan today.
Good. Well, I can't tell.
Coca-Cola Zero. Try it to believe it.
In leadership, no word is more important than trust. You can trust Chevy, the brand more Americans choose.
See why during the Chevy NCAA March Madness event. Like Silverado half-ton crew cab with more interior room than Ford F-150 Super Crew. Get a 2006 Chevy Silverado half-ton crew cab LS two-wheel drive starting at $22,990 after cash back. Or get it for less during the Chevy NCAA March Madness event. See your local Chevy dealer.
Jump in and buckle up with the teams of the Amazing Race.
Let's see how fast you are.
And speed around Germany's world-famous test track. A new Amazing Race, CBS Tuesday.
A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS.
An 11 seed with control against a 6. The NCAA tournament first round must be underway. As you look at our game summary, alongside Mike Jaminski and Stephen Bardo, Tim Brando, we can't be surprised at this, guys. We simply can't.
No, this Milwaukee team has so much depth. They hit you with waves with their pressure, and now the three-point shot is starting to fall for them. This is going to be a tough uphill battle for Oklahoma.
And that's a big problem right now. If you're Oklahoma, Michael Neal is your main weapon. He's taken about 45% of your threes on the season, and he really has been kept quiet. So for Milwaukee, that's got to be a focus to not let him good looks on the perimeter.
And Bookout's only taken one shot in this half, and he led Oklahoma in the first half of the game, and I'm curious as to whether that wrist problem has been an issue for him. He aggravated that broken wrist in the first half, but he's not gotten many touches, as you mentioned, Mike, and that's been a real problem for OU. Now with the game in a scramble situation, they're going to have to play more full court. He may see a lot of time on the bench the rest of the way. They've got to speed up the game.
Taylor Griffin is in the game right now. Very capable scorer on the low post. Freshman, extremely strong, good athlete, and has picked up his confidence late in the Big 12 season.
Number 32 for Oklahoma. Nicknamed Tiny, the freshman from Oklahoma Christian School. There's Everett. Yes, and a foul. Jason McCoy picks it up. Strong move to the glass by Terrell Everett.
He has had trouble finishing going right. No such trouble going left. Really uses his body well. That was almost like an interior player shot, kind of the half-running hook.
14 points for Terrell Everett. Really a quiet leader, and Kelvin constantly telling him to communicate more. That happens a lot when you're converting from a shooting guard position to the point, as was the case this season for Terrell.
But what a conversion for Kelvin Sampson and the Sooners. You have a player converting from the 2 to the point position, which is arguably the toughest position on the floor, and he leads the conference in assists.
Taylor Griffin picks up that foul. It's the 9th team foul committed by Oklahoma, so Wisconsin-Milwaukee will be shooting in the double bonus the rest of the way. 6 minutes and 54 seconds left. It's a 2-point game at halftime. Wisconsin-Milwaukee did have a 10-point lead at one point in the first half. They've led by as many as 14 here in the second half as Kevin Bookout looks to come back into the game.
And Oklahoma's going to have to take a page out of Milwaukee's book if they want to get back into this game. They're going to have to pressure a little bit coming outside of themselves. You saw Neal try to give a little bit of full court pressure man to man.
And you know what? I like this strategy. They're up 13, but they still continue to pressure down. A lot of teams would lay off, get back into half court, but Rob Jeter's still being aggressive. I like that attitude.
Carter, again, quick, but that is too much so against a defender like Tiger, who had position to collect the player control foul. So Nate Carter picks it up.
Starting to get the sense from the Sooners of clock running down and urgency and maybe trying to force action right there.
And Nate Carter is a type of player that I expected to have a pretty good game today. Sort of a tweener, similar size as Tucker. Lefty is a little crafty around the basket, but he struggled this afternoon.
Another pick, this one by Gray, as McCoy tried to pass over the defense and couldn't. Bookout gets free from Tiger. They need more of that in the high-low game.
And that's how you break pressure, especially if you're getting fronted down in the low post. You've got to get somebody else up to the high box and then have that post man hold his position on the back.
See Boo Davis really being aggressive.
Rebound to Carter. Terrell Everett has Neal along with Carter, Bookout, and Gray. Bookout with a big-time offensive rebound. And there's Gray. Kevin Bookout with a huge rebound, and he was bumped along the way. That was a tough rebound that led to the bucket.
Ironically, you saw there with the pick. They've got to communicate that. That young man could get hurt on those.
Tucker. That's a block. It'll go against Bookout.
I mean, Tiger just laid out, and you want to loosen up ball pressure up the court, come up and set a back screen like that. And if I'm Michael Neal, I'm going to find Tiger's guy and have a conversation with him, so he lets me know that that screen's there.
I think it's going to be a little bit more than a conversation going on. But you can tell Oklahoma's not used to pressuring like that, Mike, because the, Bookout or Gray, whoever was guarding Tiger at the time, needs to communicate and be up the floor.
Joa Tucker has had a very steady game today, letting it flow to him. Now take a look at our Southwest Airlines sideline report. We mentioned Rob Jeter. Looks like he could still play the game in many respects. The Milwaukee coach has just done a marvelous job in taking over for Bruce Pearl. The Horizon League champion is the son of Bob Jeter. It was really interesting hearing him talk yesterday about the father-son relationship, how much it means to him.
Well, and you were talking about him coming in. I think nothing harder than seniors accepting a new coach. That they've been with Bruce Pearl for the whole time, and then all of a sudden you have to adapt. That's got to be an extremely difficult situation.
Smith with the near steal against that pressure. Oklahoma really struggling.
And now Everett can't move along the baseline. And so this plays into the hands of the Panthers, trying to get you in the Coffin's corner right there.
.5:20 and counting. Game one of our afternoon session in the Minneapolis bracket. Oklahoma and Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Everett rattles one home. 64-55.
And Terrell Everett can take over a game. He looks like he's a little frustrated with his teammates' inability to score. He's going to look to take it over.
Tucker, that's a walk on the ball fake. Picked up the heels. Rob Jeter disagrees.
Well, and they're two different disciplines, and I never really felt like a scoring guard could really become a point guard. I mean, it's that computer chip in there that always has you looking to shoot the ball. But the fact that he's fourth in the NCAA in assists, but now he's got that capability to score the basketball.
A reminder, Florida and South Alabama coming up next. We'll await the winner of our game between Oklahoma and Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
I still haven't sensed any consensus in the building yet for either one of these two teams, which surprised me. Usually it's the higher seed or lower seed.
Well, I think in watching the game, many of these Florida fans coming in are figuring out that maybe Oklahoma would be their preference as the game goes on. Early, I think they were solidly behind Wisconsin, Milwaukee, but the modern-day internet athlete and modern-day internet fan is noticing what's going on with Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Davis in traffic is fouled. It'll go against Neal.
As I've watched Boo Davis here in the last couple minutes, I would almost set up for a charge. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking to score. He's coming off the pick and roll extremely hard and a little bit out of control.
This is a guy talking about. He had a knee injury a couple of years ago, developed viral meningitis. As part of that was, couldn't walk, couldn't talk for a stretch in the hospital, recovered, and what a performance he's put on today.
Well, Tuesday on The Amazing Race, get behind the wheel with the teams as they speed around the world-famous test track. Tuesday on CBS, America's #1 network. This is a young man that really is known more for his offense and really has pledged to play better D, not feeding off his offense any longer. Boo Davis, 66-57. Look at that free throw line stat. Wisconsin, Milwaukee getting there more and producing. Everett, the jump stop, lays it off, count it, and a foul against Tucker.
Tell you what, Terrell Everett's going to have to ice his back because he's got his team. He's carrying his team right now. He has a hand in every single scoring opportunity for Oklahoma in the last 5 minutes.
And what that does, two things for your team. One, you sniff out that mismatch and get Gray involved offensively, but you also build up fouls on Tucker and see if you can try to limit his effectiveness going down the stretch.
That's the one area of the floor, too, Mike. Don't you agree where Gray and Bookout can hurt you? These are not big players that can bring defenders away from the basket, but they can hurt you within 10 feet. Hill trying to leave it for Davis. The alley-oop came a bit delayed, but it worked.
But I like the fact that he went up, caught it, and came down rather than trying to make a circus play. Get your base underneath you.
Here's where Gray can hurt you, right there. He gets it that close to the 10. It's all but over.
Well, Milwaukee's made the adjustments with Tiger and Tucker to play behind Gray and Bookout, but they've got to body them out of their comfort zone. Gray was 5 feet away from the basket. You'll get beat every time in that situation.
That 14-point lead has been carved to 6. Oklahoma's defensive intensity picking up. The foul spotted underneath. We have a timeout, 3:38 remaining as we head down the home stretch. Gray just fouled out.
You may not think about Chamberlain garage door openers, how reliably they perform, how they open your day. The nice thing is, you really don't need to pay much attention. Chamberlain's there, providing convenience, safety, and security. Like our EverCharge battery backup system. Now, your garage door opener works even when your power's out. It's important because no matter where life takes you, your destination is always home.
You're welcome home.
The pursuit of healthy, beautiful hair. The lengths we've gone to. The things we've tried. When all along, the secret to healthy hair is a healthy scalp. Go straight to the source with the totally reinvented Head & Shoulders. The HydroZinc formula contains 6 times the moisturizers for your scalp and hair. It's healthy, beautiful, and 100% flake-free. Surprise yourself with one of the 9 formulations of the new Head & Shoulders. Truly healthy hair starts at the scalp.
Just sit right back and grab some tails, the tails of some tasty shrimp. Sensations now at Applebee's are really worth the trip. Sauteed, crisp fried, fire grilled, served on a handy skewer. So many shrimp you'll want to plan a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. So join us here this week, my friend. It's time for eating good. Shrimp sensations new at Applebee's in your neighborhood.
What are they doing?
Sweetie, see, when the men shoot the ball through the hoop, their team gets 2 points.
Yeah, they need to switch out of the 2-3 and go box and 1 before that forward kills them with a weak side trade.
And when they bounce the ball, it's called dribbling.
Catch a new episode of How I Met Your Mother, CBS Monday, right after the King of Queens.
Greg Gumbel in New York. We'll get you right back to Jacksonville after we update you on what's happening out in San Diego, which is nothing. All of the people scheduled to go in and see the action, the NCAA tournament action there, are still outside the arena. Earlier today, law enforcement officials cleared Cox Arena because a suspicious package was found, and we know no more than that. Alabama and Marquette were scheduled to tip at 2:40 Eastern time. That's obviously not going to happen, so the action there has at least been delayed for a while. We'll update you when we know more. Let's get you back to Jacksonville. Oklahoma continues to trail Wisconsin, Milwaukee 68-62. We rejoin Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, and Stephen Bardo.
All right, Greg, unfortunately, real-world issues at times get in the way of joyous occasions in our country, and that's the case today.
I don't know if you heard, Tim, last weekend in the ACC tournament, we got word of there was a threat nationally. We didn't know if it was going to be the Big East tournament or so many things.
We found out at the SEC tournament as well.
So that's been out there for a week or so, but certainly things have escalated.
One thing we're sure of is that they have taking every precaution possible in San Diego. Here, this run that was 13-6 for Oklahoma after the 5th foul was picked up by Taj Gray. You talk about knowing time and score and circumstances. Taj Gray made a huge mental error.
Yeah, it was a tough play away from the ball. He got called for his 5th foul, and you just can't hurt your team like that if you're one of your senior leaders.
Carter missed everything.
I just wonder how Oklahoma's going to play with a smaller lineup. Does it help them against the pressure for Milwaukee, or is it something, obviously you want Taj Gray in on the floor, but maybe this forces them to change, and maybe it helps them.
Davis goes 360 and is fouled. It goes against Everett. And that's the 4th foul on Everett. Now let's take a look at Powerade power in the paint. And again, Mike, the mistake made inside, but he did so much inside, did Taj Gray.
And that's the thing that it takes away from Oklahoma, is that presence defensively as a shot blocker. You see coming down this end that Milwaukee attacking the paint immediately. They know they can go inside now without the big fella in the background.
And he had become so active on the offensive end, Stephen. They had cut that 14-point lead to 6 by getting the ball into Taj Gray. Now you see the change being made. As Mike mentioned, Taylor Griffin does check in, replacing Nate Carter, the smaller player, at 6'6".
Well, Everett, the playmaker that he is, was able to get Taj Gray back into the game with some penetrating moves and some nice dishes. But right now, Taylor Griffin's going to have to step up big time for the Sooners.
Everett leaves it on the wing for Godbold. Another big tray and a timeout taken by Kelvin Sampson. It is a 2-possession game with 2:53 remaining here in Jacksonville. Wisconsin-Milwaukee has the lead.
Just sit right back and grab some tails, the tails of some tasty shrimp. Sensations now at Applebee's are really worth the trip. Sauteed, crisp fried, fire grilled, served on a handy skewer. So many shrimp you'll want to plan a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. So join us here this week, my friend. It's time for eating good. Shrimp sensations new at Applebee's in your neighborhood.
Since you haven't had an accident for over 3 years, I got you a great discount. Okay. And I even got you a discount for having your airbags.
Booyah!
And because you have your renter's insurance with us, you save even more. Now you're covered, so to speak.
Oh, baby Yankee! Buy me. Oh! Oh! We good.
Join our 40 million fans as State Farm salutes NCAA March Madness. Call an agent today.
Greg Gumbel in New York. Before we get you back to your game in Jacksonville, I want to fill you in once again on what's happening out in San Diego, where fans are now being allowed to enter the arena. We don't as yet have a tip time for Alabama Marquette, but there's a good sign. People are allowed back into the building. We'll keep you updated as we are given the details. Let's get you back to Jacksonville. Under 3 minutes to play. Wisconsin-Milwaukee leading Oklahoma. Tim, Mike, and Stephen.
Thank you, Greg. That is good news. Happy to hear that they'll be able to play some basketball shortly in San Diego.
It's been David Godbold who's given this team a lift from behind the arc. Stephen, about Michael Neal and all the hot shooting that he's had recently, but Godbold's makes some big shots.
And you saw a little total pressure that time, full court by Oklahoma, trying to get Milwaukee out of rhythm in the half-court set and hopefully force a miss.
The Sooners cannot call another timeout. They've utilized them all, and you go back to that run in the opening moments of the second half, and whenever it had left the game, had to call a timeout with 12:04 left as Tiger uses that little jump hook in the paint. 73-65. So the Sooners have to score and begin to think about fouling.
That's a big-time move by Tiger. A crab dribble in the paint, jump hook going with this strong hand. That's a high percentage shot down the stretch.
We're near a body of water. We can have crab drills here. Everett. Fadeaway will not go. Bookout keeps it alive, but he was on the inline. On the baseline, it goes back the other way.
Right, to be food never far from your mind,
no.
Is it? Take a look inside, and that's against a big body too, but when you get multiple dribbles down in the low post without any double team, it puts a lot of pressure on that defender man on man.
Foul picked up by Michael Neal. That's his third. And it will send Chris Hill to the free throw line well into the double bonus.
Well, Timmy, the one thing I think, and Steve, you can count on this, that talk about this team not being a fluke, there's a swagger to Milwaukee right now. I mean, they look like they expect to win this ball game.
Yeah. They came in here with a lot of confidence, using the lower seed as motivation. And the new kid, or the small kid on the block.
Yeah, I don't know. Certainly smaller, that's for sure. Look at our tournament summary, guys, and that's another factoid that everyone across the country will be watching. Those 4 teams in the Missouri Valley, how they fared to go along with the Air Force Academy. You can bet people will be keeping a watchful eye on that, and so too will the people on the tournament selection committee.
Well, and already Seton Hall not having a good result early on, so you take a look at that record from the Big East to see how those last couple teams that got into.
Wichita State faring very well today. There's a leaner. Just beat the 10-second line, and a quick timeout taken by Wisconsin. Milwaukee as Oklahoma tries to pump up the volume on the defensive end. They trail by 7.
There's a line we all cross in our lives. It's the line between what can I have and what do I want. We each arrive at this line in our own time. But whenever that time comes, things will change just a little bit for the better. Right down to the beer you drink. Enjoy the golden, rich flavor of Miller Genuine Draft. It's beer, grown up.
Today, Chevrolet players of the game are Boo Davis of Wisconsin-Milwaukee and Terrell Everett from Oklahoma. In recognition of their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. America's brand supports America's best. Chevy, an American revolution.
Follow on that stat too for Oklahoma. Talk about Terrell Everett doing it all. Oklahoma has 28 field goals in this game. He has scored or assisted on 20 of them.
Hill, trying to get through the double team, is fouled by Taylor Griffin. It's all really the Sooners can do. They have exhausted their timeouts. Second foul, as I mentioned, on Griffin, and so some defensive for offensive substitutions can be made. While Wisconsin-Milwaukee is at the free throw line, Michael Neal looking to come back in for some offensive punch.
Well, right now, if this veteran ball club from Milwaukee, they can make their free throws and just take care of the basketball, they should walk away a winner here. And impressive showing by Milwaukee.
And the good news for them, primary ball handlers, Chris Hill 75%, Boo Davis 77%. So you like those percentages in the end game.
We said before the game's got underway today as Everett tries a fade away from downtown, unable to hit. You really, as a fan, need to take a long look, as Taylor Griffin is, at disassociating the number next to the team in this year's NCAA tournament. A lot of 12s are as good as 5s. A number of 11s as good as 6s and better. And this is yet another example of it right here.
Well, you saw the parity in college basketball throughout the season this year. And a lot of people talked about coming into the tournament how we're going to see that kind of play out. And, you know, we showed the graphic with the Missouri Valley teams getting in, and Wichita State kind of coming out and doing a good job against Seton Hall early. So this is just another example of that parity around the country.
I don't know that anything under a 12 seed could be considered an upset.
Absolutely. I would agree. And by the way, that you can see on Game Tracks what Wichita State did to Seton Hall today. There's another steal. Smith.
Different coach, same result.
And they got to that magic number 2, fellas. 80. Gotthard with the 3. We talked about it. Can you get to 80? They want that score up in the high 70s, and they feel like 80 is the number where they are in their comfort zone. And Rob Jeter's got to feel very confident, not only about this win, but really about the matchup against either Florida or South Alabama. And after a year ago, this is absolutely no surprise. It may be an upset, all about the heart from Bruce Pearl. He relied heavily on Tucker as they took down an Alabama team that lacked depth and really had two bigs in Davidson and Davis, very similar to this Oklahoma matchup, and then defeated Boston College before playing Illinois off their feet in defeat.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job of reaching the Sweet 16 last year. And, you know, as we look at this team and who they're going to face possibly, you're looking at a matchup of, where are we here?
Florida and South Alabama.
Yeah, Florida and South Alabama. So if Billy Donovan's crew can take care of their business, you're going to see a high-powered, full-court game with Milwaukee and Florida.
2 in a row. Then they'll come off. That's what South Alabama's going to throw at them in the next game, too. You get the short spikes out. It's going to be attractive.
Everett on a stop-and-go maneuver. Bookout trying to set a pick. Kevin Bookout has certainly been a constant for Oklahoma. Griffin may have got the credit for that tip in, but he has played his heart out, has number 34 in white. The lead is 7. And Griffin picks up the foul. That's 5 on Taylor.
Well, that's a bad feeling right there. The seniors who look at Everett and Bookout on the floor right now. And I went out my senior year in the first round and upset against Dayton, and that's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, you know, you played in a Final Four and lost that game to Michigan back in '89 in Seattle. You think you'll get back, and I know, Mike, you've mentioned many times to me you played for the national championship against Kentucky back in 1978. You were only a sophomore.
Yeah, the irony, Tim, was with my last game, Rupp Arena. We had actually beaten Kentucky in Rupp Arena, and then for the chance to go to the Final Four, lost to Purdue and Joe Barry Carroll. But even the finality,
yes,
I mean, that's the heartbreak and the joy of this tournament, especially for seniors, that this is it. It's over.
By the way, I watched both of those games and I felt your collective pain. This is not just an upset in terms of the seedings, but it's a convincing win, though, the kind that spawns more confidence for Milwaukee in the second round. Now, if it happens to be Florida, they would be facing really a home crowd. The Gators fan base only 70 miles from Gainesville here. But wrap this one up for the Panthers. Set your horizon wherever you'd like as they defeat the Sooners of the Big 12, 82-6.
All right, so we have Wisconsin-Milwaukee as a winner. Meanwhile, in Salt Lake City, 1-point game. The Eagles lead Pacific. Ian Eagle and Jim Spanarkel.
A second free throw coming for Lewis Hennett, the senior.